Welcome back to the 411 Podcasting Network. I am your host, Larry Csonka, and this is the 411 on Wrestling Podcast. You can follow us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, and of course, the 411 Mania site. Leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Share us around on social media because we would appreciate it. Today, I am joined with my good friend, Jeremy Lambert. Jeremy, how are you?
I caught strep from Jim Cornette, and so I've been better.
Jim Cornette poisoned you, huh?
That's right. He blocked me on Twitter, and then he poisoned me at the NWA show.
Oh, damn.
Jim Cornette's not a fan of me, apparently. I don't want to get the man in trouble. I don't know. I'm sure I did not get strep from him. I didn't actually interact with him. But I got strep over the weekend, and so... a lot of rest, a lot of ice cream, which has been cool, and yeah, that's about it. So I'm hanging in there.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you're back. Yeah, we pushed things back a day, but that is all right. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about Dean Ambrose, Goldberg, and a lot of New Japan stuff. So let's start off with the artist formerly known as Dean Ambrose, who released a teaser video this week, returning to his Jon Moxley persona. And Jeremy, what did you think about this video?
I loved it. I mean, Ambrose certainly got everybody buzzing right off the bat. I did like a big numbers piece on it yesterday, and people were pissed at me because I pointed out, like, oh, Ambrose's video has 1.8 million views right now. It's the same number of viewers as SmackDown. And people are like, oh, you can't compare the two. Like, I'm not truthfully comparing the two, but it just goes to show, like, how many people have watched this video. Like, it got a ton of retweets, a ton of likes. It was trending on Twitter. And I don't know what this all actually adds up to, because I mean, WWE trends on Twitter all the time. They get millions of views on their YouTube pages, and Becky Lynch's tweets get thousands of likes and retweets, and the ratings still drop every week. I would suspect that Ambrose he's going to boost ticket sales no matter what he does, where he goes. I mean, you throw Dean Ambrose, I guess Jon Moxley against Joey Janela on a GCW show in 2 weeks, and that show's selling out instantly. As far as the video itself, it was really well done, like really well produced. I know it's led to a lot of speculation that WWE helped him or AEW helped them. Like, I'm sure he got help from somebody, but nowadays producing a good video like this probably doesn't cost as much money as people think it does. And Ambrose has friends. I'm sure one of his friends is some type of video producer, video editor. So it probably wasn't this big, high budget production that people thought it was. But yeah, overall, just like from start to finish, from the actual video to the buzz that it created, I think it did wonders for the Dean Ambrose, Jon Moxley character. It got me more interested in him than fucking anything WWE's done for him in the last few years.
Yeah, and I saw the speculation on all that stuff too. And the one thing people have to remember is we're living in an age where actual movie directors and stuff have used iPhones to shoot certain scenes and actually use it in a movie. And I mean, you even look back to stuff like the Broken Hardy stuff. They did that. That was all guerrilla production, really cheaply done. And like, it looked really good. So, I mean, you don't have to spend like $1 million to make a great video. Look at all the stuff that Joey Janela's guy produced for all the hype videos they did. Kenny Williams, who does all the Evolve stuff. You can do really good video these days without breaking the bank. So, yeah, I know.
I joked that Ambrose shot this while he was under WWE contract because his contract expired at the last day of April, and this video came out like 2 minutes past midnight. So unless he shot it all in 2 minutes, then he obviously shot it while he's under WWE contract. And I joked that he probably just went to WWE production and was like, "Hey, I'm doing this video for this Jon Moxley character. Can you guys shoot it for me?" And the production company's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." Like they just didn't ask anybody because no one seems to know what the right hand is doing from the left hand in that company. So WWE probably just shot it for him unknowingly. You'll see a Dean Ambrose video on their expense report next quarter. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
That would actually be really funny. That would be up there with Naito duping the press every year into paying for his lunch. I'd laugh. But yeah, no, it's I thought it was really well done. And basically, according to all reports, he's going to be doing indie dates. He has a bunch booked. They're going to be announced soon. And the big speculation out there is that he's going to be working the PWG Mystery Vortex event. And we'll see where he ends up. And a lot of people keep saying, well, WWE gave him such a great send-off, so they probably didn't think he'd go to like AEW or anything or New Japan. But you never know. I mean, here's the thing. They reportedly threw a lot of money at him to stay. And for him, it's not about the money. He wanted to be creatively fulfilled and he wanted to be happy. And apparently he wasn't happy and opted to leave. And that's, hey, if that's the decision he made, as long as dude's happy, he's married to Renee Young. You really should be happy. But seriously, I mean, if the guy's happy, it's all that matters. Where is he going to end up? I don't know. He just may do an indie date here and there and do some autograph signings, and maybe that's all he wants to do. Maybe he wants to work a full schedule somewhere else where he thinks he can have a lot of freedom. I don't know again. We'll see what happens. But, yeah, like you said, the video definitely made me more interested in him than anything WWE's done with him in a long time. Thought it was really well done. I like the symbolism of breaking out of the prison. I like how a lot of people looked really deep into that. Like, oh, he's shitting on WWE. They made him. Okay, that doesn't mean he was happy, though. So maybe he
I mean, he was clearly unhappy. He got offered millions of dollars and still left. Like, and they booked like the Ambrose Asylum and stuff. I know a prison is different than an asylum, but I looked at it as sort of just the similar kind of take there. Is like he was just breaking out of where he had been, I don't want to say held captive, like he did well in WWE, but he was just breaking out of a place that he had been for a while and just wasn't happy in at the end of his run and whatever. The symbolism that catches me is, everyone's looking into the AEW, the dice that say 2-5 and the marks on the wall that's 25. Obviously Double or Nothing is May 25th. I don't like reading too much into these videos. I think in hindsight you can look at it and be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But these guys nowadays are so smart with kind of what they do and how they can trick internet fans that I wouldn't be shocked if he just did it to just increase this speculation when he has actual, like, no real plans of showing up. If he shows up, great. This is why I don't know, like, how much these trends and these numbers truthfully translate to anything. Like, let's say Dean Ambrose shows up at Double or Nothing on May 25th. Like that show's already sold out. I think they've already even sold out like Fyter Fest and Fight for the Fallen. If they haven't, they're very close. Like, okay, you add Ambrose to those shows, you sell out. You guarantee to sell out. But again, they're already probably going to sell out those shows. AEW is not getting on TV until October at the earliest. So if Dean Ambrose shows up in May, even though this is a heavily hyped return and the numbers with this video did well, like, what do these numbers translate to if Dean Ambrose shows up and is on AEW television in October after already working a handful of AEW shows, probably being on Being the Elite, probably working a ton of indies in the meantime? Like, is that going to translate into any type of ratings? And the answer is probably no. So that's why when I did this numbers piece, I just cautioned everyone, like, these are cool. He obviously created a buzz. I don't know what it fully means until then. And I wouldn't speculate that he's going to be a double or nothing, like, guaranteed, because you do that and then fans create, they get their hopes up. Obviously, we saw it with All In. Everyone, like, almost everyone thought CM Punk was going to show up because he'd been talked about. Everyone knew he was in Chicago for that weekend shooting that movie, and everyone's just like, it just makes too much sense. CM Punk is gonna show up at All In, and then he doesn't show up, and fans were like left disappointed that CM Punk didn't show up. And it's like, he was never advertised. Okay, tea leaves showed that maybe he would be there, but like, don't build it up to where you're gonna be disappointed if this thing doesn't happen.
Yeah, and like you said, I think the like using the 2.5 to 25 stuff in the video was a strategy move that, like you said, just to get more buzz and stuff, and that's his game right now. He needs to, he's trying to. The video to me was trying to show that, like, listen, I left. I'm going to be a different guy. I'm going back to what I used to be, trying to just get a good buzz going for himself, and we will see what happens. But definitely very interesting. You gotta give him credit. It was well done. Got a lot of buzz, and that is important because that we'll see how it goes. But again, like you said, how will it translate to numbers and influence later on? That we don't know. But definitely an interesting time. And speaking of interesting things, WWE finally officially announced the return to Saudi Arabia, happening in June, and they advertised some talents. Brock is coming back, which I think many of us were speculating anyway, especially after the news that he wasn't going to fight Daniel Cormier. And apparently the reason he's not fighting Cormier is because Brock's not stupid. Since the UFC changed the pay-per-view model with ESPN, Brock wanted a guaranteed high-rate flat fee. And UFC didn't want to pay him, so Brock said, fuck off. But they did announce that Bill Goldberg will be returning, because apparently even Bill Goldberg cannot turn down that sweet Saudi money. Now, to me, right away, this screams WWE trying to take somebody off the market again. And that is my phone alarm. I'm sorry.
Now everyone knows what your alarm is.
Well, that's the guarantee that I wake up at like 5 a.m. for New Japan shows. But yeah, but I think this is WWE taking a player off the board again. I think that they're going to try to lock Goldberg into some kind of deal, like an extended Legends deal type of thing, maybe to where he works these big shows, does appearances and stuff. Because in my mind, they're trying to stop people from leaving. They don't want to give anybody out there any more ammunition, whether it be New Japan, AEW, whoever. You don't want someone like that.
I don't think they have to worry about Goldberg going to New Japan.
Well, probably not. But
that'd be great. Let Goldberg work a G1 run.
Yeah. But I think that, like, locking up Goldberg is their goal, to the point that I guess in a way they're trying to avoid like AEW getting to have their Lex Luger returning on Nitro moment. They don't want them to have a big star appear. They'd rather them not get any buzz. And, that's just, you look at the WWE hiring practice over the last couple years. We talk about the hoarding of talent, how they basically just have like this warehouse of talent, not even using them all, and they have a ton of them. So I think that that's what they're doing with this move. But yeah, Bill is back for the sweet Saudi money. Jeremy, what do you think?
Real quickly on Lesnar before Goldberg is, yes, he is smart. And I know we haven't talked about this, but I've talked about this with other people. This ESPN deal is just another thing where UFC fighters are fucked. Any deal Dana White takes is not for the good of the fighters. It's for the good of Dana White. And this ESPN deal is just more of that, because pay-per-view buys don't matter anymore. Like these guys, they're not going to know what the buy rates are, so they don't know how to negotiate pay-per-view points anymore. And it's all upfront money for Dana. Like he doesn't have to. He can fucking headline a show with Amanda Nunes and Holly Holm. I know that's not the headliner in a couple of weeks, but theoretically he could. And like, all right, that's a good fight, but you put that on pay-per-view and it's probably doing nowadays like 150, and like that's a money losing fight on pay-per-view. And with ESPN, it's like, you already paid us millions up front. We can just fucking throw whatever fight on there that we want to. Yeah, Brock is smart enough to realize that, hey, without the pay-per-view aspect of it, I'm going to need more money. And Dana doesn't have to do that anymore. Like stars are less important now than they ever were in the UFC. And it's almost WWE-ish. And Brock, good on him. He doesn't need that money if he's going to fight the Cormier. I actually feel bad for Cormier because this should have been a pay-per-view fight. This should have been a million buy pay-per-view fight for Daniel Cormier. And this guy's worked so hard throughout his career. He's the only big fights he's really had was the John Jones fight, and he does everything the right way. He does everything the UFC's asked for him. Like Brock would have not only been a big money fight, but probably a very winnable fight for him as well. And now he's got to fight Stipe Miocic again on a show that wouldn't do well on regular pay-per-view, and he's going to get boned on the money aspect of it because of this ESPN deal. So good on Brock for seeing through this bullshit that the UFC is pulling and getting more money out of fans. As far as Goldberg goes, yeah, I'm with you that there was always the rumors that he was going to show up in AEW, dating back to even before AEW was official. So I don't know how truthful those were. Everyone connected him and Barry Bloom, who was also like Jericho's agent and Jim Ross's agent and everything. And so they just kind of tied it all together. But AEW's stance has always been like, we're going to build fresh talent, new talent. You bring in Goldberg, who's the furthest thing from fresh and new, and the furthest thing from even what they want as an in-ring product. Like it's a guy who is going to do 2 or 3 moves, and he's not going to like fucking Goldberg's not going out there and having the 20-minute match with Kenny Omega. So I never got the tie-in there outside of just he knows people who knows people who's associated with AEW. But obviously it seemed to scare off WWE enough to where, yeah, we're not taking any chances here, and we're just gonna give this guy the Saudi money, probably sign him up to some type of deal that prevents him from doing other appearances and stuff, and then going from there. I assume they're gonna book Undertaker, Lesnar, and Goldberg, or Undertaker and Goldberg at the Saudi show. Fine, whatever. Keep it short. I don't need a 30-minute. Throw Triple H in there so we can have our 30-minute classic and then move on.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like I said, I think that they're just, they're trying to block anybody from getting any kind of momentum because, like you said, yeah, Goldberg doesn't really fit the whole AEW thing. But again, you're trying to secure your TV deal. You want people to talk about it when you debut. And, you're looking for something big. So, I mean, you take another piece off the game board. I mean, who's really left out there? You're looking at like, Ambrose and Punk. And that's
and
really
I don't know if Punk would be I would think would look good to like television executives. Ambrose, I don't know. Like he hasn't proven that he's like this big star who is going to just bring in hundreds of thousands of viewers. You know what I mean? Like Punk could probably do it just based off of how long he's been gone and how he does get people buzzing. Like Ambrose, you can't present him and be like, hey, this guy's gonna guarantee our television. Like right now their big presentation is Chris Jericho, and like, all right, Jericho is a nice piece, but he too was never this like huge star in wrestling, and he made a very good name for himself outside of wrestling, which certainly helps. Yeah, Goldberg would certainly, you can point back of this guy was a huge draw, but again, this was like 20 years ago. I mean, when he returned to WWE in this last run, he didn't like completely set the world on fire with ratings. It's just such a different landscape today to where I don't think you can take like anybody. Look at Ronda Rousey. Like she came in, it boosted for a little while, but then it quickly died down. And I mean, they were doing their lowest ratings ever with her on the shows. And now, I mean, she's gone, and the ratings are going down even further. But Batista came back and he boosted it a little bit, but not to an extent that you would think like this guy's in fucking the biggest movie of all time, and he can't even boost the ratings to where it looks good to advertisers. I just don't know if there's anybody out there that you can present outside of like The Rock, because he's the fucking Rock, and maybe John Cena, but those guys aren't going to AEW. So I just don't see where there's just a guy who they can present to be like, this is our guy who's gonna guarantee we get these high television ratings. And like Goldberg probably wasn't that guy, but again, it seemed to scare WWE off enough to where, hey, he got some money out of Vince for him. So if Goldberg leveraged AEW to get more money out of Vince, good on him.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. I mean, and the thing is, too, is they're probably having to pay him a lot of money because, I mean, if you watch the Goldberg 24 thing after when he talked about, trying to get ready for the comeback and get in Goldberg shape and try to look like as much a Goldberg as he could for Mania and everything. And, I mean, he basically said it. He went through hell, at his age and everything, and just, yeah. So I'm sure I'm sure he made out rather well. And you know what? I mean, more power to the guy if all this Saudi Arabia shit doesn't bother him, I guess. If, he wants to pick up a few million to, throw in the bank for his kid and stuff. I mean, I'm not going to begrudge him that. But yeah, it's just, yeah, the whole fucking Saudi Arabia bullshit is like, yay, we're still doing that. And they're still doing it. And again, I know why they're doing it. Please don't tell me I don't know why. They're making, depending on who you believe, $45 to like $55 million a show in Saudi Arabia. That is a huge deal. Now, theoretically, they don't need that money now because they have the $1 billion TV deals. But the fact is, they're locked in for 10 years. And, you're not going to turn on making $100 million despite who you piss off. And that's just, that's the way it is. So, yeah, June, we're going back to Saudi Arabia, Undertaker, Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, and it'll be interesting to see what they book exactly. And, it's just, yeah, it's kind of surprising because I didn't think he'd be coming back. But here we are because the sweet Saudi money tastes good, Jeremy.
The whole Saudi deal just continues to rub me the wrong way. Like it's clearly money. There's no other reason for them to do it, and it's kind of just sad on many levels that they want this money so bad that they're not going to pull out of this deal despite everything we know about Saudi Arabia. It sucks, but I mean, the stock's dropping, the ratings are dropping. I don't know if it's all conducive to because of the Saudi Arabia deal. At some point, I feel like they should look at that and be like, hey, maybe our fans aren't too happy that we're associated with these people, and we would be better off if we weren't associated with them. Maybe it would look better. WWE is all about portray public image, and then they go and do this. It's just their public image is only good to them if it's making them more money, and they don't care about their public image with this Saudi money on the table because it's more than they get out of WrestleMania. So
exactly,
it's a shame, but it's Vince's company. We're just talking about it.
That's right. So we're gonna move on to some New Japan talk now, and the Wrestling Dontaku tour is about to finish up, and before we preview night 1 and 2, I kind of want to talk about the overall the road to Dontaku and the tour and the execution of it. I, for one, while it's good for me financially, I kind of really feel like they overextended themselves on this tour. There was a lot of shows, there were a lot of live shows, but there were also some shows that didn't even air. It was a really long tour, which, while it was used to build the matches coming up, there were a lot of repetitions or variations on the same matches happening every night. And in some cases, like the LIJ, Chaos, and Ibushi matches, they were very good to great, which is, that's good. But, I mean, it's a lot if you're not me. It's like I get paid to do this. If you're an average New Japan fan, you may not want to watch 15 Chaos versus LIJ matches. You may not want to watch the same undercard tags all the time. So it becomes like a very exhausting thing, which also I feel spilled into the Sengoku Lord and Hino Kuni shows, which were kind of a step above the Road 2 shows, but didn't really feel like they were anything more than a Road 2 show. And part of that was because, again, you had this long Road 2 tour, and in a way to justify it, they had like the 6-man titles defended on the Road 2 tour. They had the junior tag titles, which was an excellent match, defended on the tour, to whereas you could have added those to Sengoku Lord or Hino Kuni to make those better shows. So I think by dropping a couple of those shows and giving a couple of days off instead of doing unaired shows, tour probably would have came off better, less exhausting for the wrestlers and less exhausting for the fans. Your thoughts, Jeremy?
I didn't watch every single one of the shows on the Road 2 tours because
fucking lazy ass.
I know, right? But it was a lot of shows. Like, I did results for a lot of the shows, and I'm just like, fuck, they had another show last night. Like, they just had 4 straight nights of shows, and it's fine, but it's very much just it's a very the shows aren't huge shows or anything, so they're doing a lot of the same matches, or a lot of, maybe they mix and match one guy here or there, but it's just a lot of tags and everything, and it's just very much like a WWE live event tour, where if you do the results for these shows, you see they run this 3-4 straight shows each night, and it's the same match every single night. Maybe with, you add a guy here, you replace a guy there, but it's for the most part, it's the same gist of the lineup, and it's just like, you can only watch this stuff so many times, and if you're doing night for the Road 2, and it's like, you can only see these matches in the same iteration like so many times. The stuff that I did watch was stuff where I read your reviews and you recommended it, like you gave it a high rating. So like, okay, I'll go out of my way to watch this match. And like, there were some good tag matches on this tour, but especially at the start of the tour. But by the end of it, pretty much after the Sengoku show, I guess, after that show, it was the same match, and the guys seemed just kind of burnt out from it all, and just they kind of half-assed it. And I can't even say I blame them, because why should they keep raising their game every night when they're gonna have to do it again the next night? So yeah, the tour felt a little long, and that's from someone who just posted results the next day and didn't actually watch every single event.
Yeah, the other thing I think is a misstep too is that you're doing this long tour, and then you have some guys going to the U.S. to work the ROH shows, and then you're going to go right into Best of the Super Juniors. So there's like 15 shows going on, and it's like, yeah, you're going to overextend the talent at some point. We don't need anybody getting hurt, because I think another thing that the Dontaku tour showed is that on the mid-level shows and on the higher-end shows, too, is you're just looking at everything, and losing Adam Page, Cody, the Bucks, and Kenny Omega, I mean, it hurt the depth chart because you didn't have as many bigger matches, and you weren't able to change the lineups as much. And I mean, say what you will about, not everybody's a big Cody fan, but when he would come in for the bigger shows, I mean, it was treated like a big deal, and just you lose all those other guys too, and it's So I hope that they don't do it again next year, because I think it was too many shows, especially because, like I said in there, they were also running some shows that weren't even aired. And it's just like you're going to overextend your talent, and we don't need people getting hurt. And again, I appreciated the content, and I think that they did a lot of really good build for matches. Like all the stuff between like Sho and Shingo was awesome. All the Evil versus Big Tom Ishii stuff was awesome. The Naito and Ibushi stuff's been really good. The Okada Sonata stuff's been good, and all those tag matches. But yeah, I think you get to a point to where it's almost content for the sake of content, and they don't really need to do that. I think it's nice that you're trying to, I love that the Best of Super Juniors is actually going to be all live this year, because I hated having to wait for the video on demand stuff. And it also makes it feel extra secondary to G1 when it's like, well, yeah, it's like we'll give you like 5 live shows, but the other 10 you have to wait video on demand, and then you're only getting tournament matches. So I like that, but yeah, I think the Dontaku tour kind of overextended its welcome. So did you get to watch the Hino Kuni show?
I did. I did watch that show.
Okay. We'll just kind of do. You have any quick thoughts on that one?
I mean, some of these matches like weren't even as good as some of the Road to tag team matches. It was a show, like I got through it. Jay White and Goto was good. I enjoyed that match. As we previewed, it was a good rehab win for Jay White. The Guerrillas of Destiny and Makabe and Yano kind of was what it was. I'm glad they didn't put the titles on Yano and Makabe. No offense to those two. But I like the Guerrillas of Destiny and their run right now. They still need to build up more tag teams, as we've talked about a lot. And then the LIJ and Chaos multi-man tag team match was good. But again, we'd seen that match so many times on the Road to tour that it was just another version of that match. So there was nothing like outside of White and Goto. There was nothing like super standout on this show for me.
Yeah,
like Juice Robinson and Chase Owens can just go away forever.
Yeah, and I'm sure Juice feels the same way at this point. But I mean, yeah, it's I thought it was a very, very almost painfully average show. Like it was there. I didn't think there was anything bad on it. But again, like the LIJ versus Chaos Ibushi match was very good. But I had seen that match a lot of times already, so it's like, okay, that's fine. I thought Jay White and Goto was very good, and everything else was just sort of there. And that's, it is what it is. And unfortunately, like I said, you look at that show and you change the LIJ match and the Chaos match to a like a 6-man. And like you do like Ibushi, Ishii, and Okada versus Naito, Sonata, and Evil. And then you add the junior tag title match to this show. And it's like completely different show. Because that's like a fucking excellent match. So yeah, you could have changed it up a little bit. And again, that's what happens when you overextend the tour and run up too many shows. And yeah, so again, hopefully they kind of learned a lesson, because it was mostly average shows. There was a couple good ones in there. But like we kind of said, there was really nothing you needed to go out of your way to see. Maybe a match here and there. It was a very big cherry-picking tour. It's like if there's a reviewer you trust, whether it's me or Arnold Furious or I think Ian Hamilton over at Backdrop Driver, or the guy who's a Voices of Wrestling. If there's someone you trust and you see a good match rating, you probably just cherry-pick the tour. I can't imagine a lot of people actually watch the whole tour, just because it was so much of the same thing.
Yeah, I agree. That's pretty much what I did is I saw which matches you were high on, and it's like, all right, well, these are the matches I'm gonna go out of my way to watch, and otherwise, I just it's a lot of wrestling, and I like New Japan, but I only have so many hours in the day. I'm not. I get more sleep than Larry, and I don't feel like I get enough sleep. So that tells you how much sleep Larry gets.
Yeah, those 5 a.m. wake up calls don't help either. But yeah, so we're gonna move on and start giving preview for the two Dontaku shows. One on apologies if there's an awkward pause in there. We had a little internet issue. Back on episode 16 of the 411 on Wrestling podcast, I'm Larry Csonka, joined by Jeremy Lambert. You can follow the show on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and share us around on social media as we would appreciate it. Again, we're going to start previewing night one of New Japan Pro Wrestling Dontaku. And we were talking in the Road 2 coverage that a lot of variations on the theme, and we're going to get some more of that on this show as we start off with Hanma Umino Narita, versus Henare Tsuji and Uemura. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I figured Narita, Umino, and Hanma wound up winning.
Yep, that is exactly what I am thinking. They've done variations on this match throughout the tour. It's usually pretty good to good. I will say that Tsuji and Uemura are starting to finally come along a little more in terms of confidence and aggression, which just being the more inexperienced lines they didn't have compared to when you see them against Umino and Narita. And, Hanma and Henare are going to be there, and Hanma will miss a Kokeshi probably. And, I will say, though, I have to admit it, I do laugh every time that Hanma comes out in his silly-ass mask thing, and he sits there and he takes it off, and Kevin Kelly goes, "Hey, it's Hanma." And it's like really deadpan. Then he did it the other night. "Hey, it's Hanma." And then he goes, one day it's not going to be Hanma. I'm going to look really, really foolish. And it was total deadpan, but it was really funny. And I don't know why, but I popped. It was good stuff. Moving on, we're going to have some more build to Liger versus Suzuki here as Yoshihashi, Jushin Liger, Tiger Mask, and Taguchi face off with Suzuki, Kanemaru, El Desperado, and Taka Michinoku. Your thoughts?
It's gonna be a match. I don't know. These I look forward to Liger and Suzuki. Their interactions have been good so far. These multi-man tag matches, they just all blend together to me. I don't care about Yoshihashi. I don't care about Taguchi. Taka's not going to do Zack Sabre time, so it's basically Liger and Suzuki.
Yeah, I do miss when Zach's not on the tour because we don't get the Zack Sabre time. But I'm
the best time of the event.
That's right. So I am looking forward to the old man fight between Liger and Suzuki again here. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm thinking maybe Dominion for that, but we'll see. Looking forward to that. Suzuki Gun has been winning a lot on the tour. Wouldn't be surprised to see them win again here. Moving on, again, variations on the theme. Makabe, Yano, and Will Ospreay versus Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, and Hikuleo.
I figure Hikuleo takes the loss here, and yeah, that's that.
Yep. I mean, really, the undercard stuff here, there's not a lot to digest other than a few very small things. But we'll start getting into something better here, though. Kota Ibushi, Sho, and Yo versus Naito, Bushi, and Shingo, which means we get to see more of Shingo and Sho trying to kill each other.
Yeah, I like this feud between LIJ and Roppongi 3K because it's all about beating Shingo, and it's it's a very simple story. Like, this guy's never been defeated, and like Roppongi, like they don't give a fuck about winning the match. They just want to beat. I mean, they care about winning, but as long as they're just beating Shingo, so I really like that story that they're running there with Shingo and Roppongi. I assume they get paired up in Best of Super Juniors at some point, and then it should be great match. And then the Bushi and Naito interactions will be fun as well.
Yeah, and the other thing too is like because Shingo and Sho complement each other so very well, and Yo and Bushi also complement each other. So all the pairings work really good here. But I mean, I like Naito and Ibushi. They've had absolutely tremendous matches this year. But I mean, right now I'm all about Sho and Shingo. I'm just that's my jam right now, just like Ishii and Evil. So they're gonna face on night 2 as well. I think LIJ takes the win on night 1.
Fair enough. Sure.
We're going to move on to a match that 6 guys that have been intertwined all tour long. Goto, Juice Robinson, and Mikey Nichols versus Jay White, Bad Luck Fale, and Chase Owens. These guys all had singles matches on the tour. Fale beat Nichols, White beat Goto, and Juice beat Owens. So this is the continuation of that on the undercard of this show. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Bullet Club wins this one. It's again outside of like I like White, I like Goto, I'm fine with Juice. The other 3 I don't have any use for. I think Bullet Club wins this one, and then the Team Juice wins. I guess Team Chaos wins the next night. So yeah.
Moving on, we have the big all-star tag here to hype up night 2. Okada and Big Tom Ishii versus Sonata and Evil. Which, again, like I talked about, that means we get to see Ishii and Evil try to kill each other. And the one good thing about that whole long tour was that, like, every night I got to see that face-off. And these guys have been great, and I'm honestly looking forward to their match more than anything, even over Okada and Sonata.
Yeah, finally a match that you can kind of sink your teeth into a little bit, as I feel a sneeze coming on. Sorry. I like this tag team match. I don't suspect. Sorry, I don't have a mute button on my mic because my Skype sucks. I expect this match, like, they won't turn it up to a 10 quite because they have this big singles matches coming up on the following night on the during this show, but like they'll probably kick it up to like a 7.5, and this tag match will probably be really, really good. I suspect it'll be it probably won't be as good as the junior heavyweight title match, but I'd be shocked if it wasn't right behind that if all 4 of these guys decide, hey, we're going to give you enough of a preview of the singles matches, but still leave a little something on there. Because, I mean, even if they just give you a little taste, like, these guys are so good that a taste will be plenty satisfying. So I look forward to this match. I figure Evil and Sonata probably win. I don't... New Japan doesn't always follow like they're a tag team who team more regularly, so they end up winning. I feel like this would be the time to go with that, especially since like Okada's gonna beat Sonata, and I guess Ishii and Evil can go either way. But I feel that Evil and Sonata probably take the victory here.
I actually think Okada and Big Tom are going to win this one because LIJ pretty much dominated the tour. I think they lost like 1 match against Chaos during the whole thing. So, yeah, I'm actually going to go the opposite on this one, although either result I think is fine as long as you get a quality match and they continue just to hype those matches up for the next night, which, again, the tour was long and a little overstated, but, again, they've done a really good job building to the matches. We move on to our first title match of the evening. Never openweight champion Big Jeff Cobb defending against Taichi.
I love Jeff Cobb. I think he's great. I wish companies would do more with him. And not to say like he's not even doing well in companies. Like he's a champion in ROH in New Japan. I still feel like there's more on the table with this guy. I don't give a fuck about Tai Chi. I feel bad that Jeff Cobb has to wrestle Tai Chi. Maybe Tai Chi can lift his game. We've seen him do it against the right opponents in the past. I just don't have any use for this guy, and I feel bad for Jeff Cobb in this one. I assume Cobb wins, but because he wants to stick around in New Japan, and he'll work pretty much any tour they give him. I feel like because it feels like he wants to be more of a New Japan guy than an ROH guy. But if Tai Chi wins and they decide to go with him with the never open weight title, whatever, that belt hot potatoes so much that it's tough to really care about it.
Yeah, I like you. I'm a huge Jeff Cobb fan. I think the dude is awesome. Tai Chi's a guy that most of the time I have no time for. There have been 3 Tai Chi matches I thought have been great over the past couple years, and that was against Naito, Tanahashi, and then against Ishii recently. And
yeah, so he had great matches against Naito, Tanahashi, and Ishii.
Yeah, good. Which I mean, you know, with me with one leg, I could probably have a great match with those guys too. But yeah, but the thing is like when he is not just doing the overstated cliche heel bullshit, and he's more the dangerous T character and actually goes out there, like in that last match with Ishii, he was great in that match. Loved it. I thought it was really, really good. And I know he's a heel and I get what they're trying to do, but I wish we would get more of that with him. But I kind of really fear that we're not going to get any of that here. And it's going to be just a lot of the heel bullshit, and he's going to do his thing. And hopefully Cobb wins and retains, because I think I don't think it's the right time to take the title off and just won it. I think there's a lot of meat left on the bone. There's other fresh matches to have. So I would not change the title here at all. And I hope it's at least good. And if we get the Tai Chi that we got against Ishii, I mean, it actually could be great, but I'm not banking on that. It happens too infrequently.
Yeah, my expectations are low for this match because either they overshoot expectations and I'm happy that there's a good Tai Chi match out there, or I'm not disappointed by everything. So I'm keeping my expectations low. I hope Cobb wins. As you said, it seems like it's just too early to take the title off of him. Let him have a halfway decent run with the belt, and this is a guy you can sort of build around. Like, I don't know how much they want to build around him, but this is certainly a guy you can build around if you want to. Like, you can put him in Intercontinental title mix. You can have him challenge for the IWGP title on certain shows. Like, he's a really good hand, and you give him more exposure in New Japan, and he'll start to get over more.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. And he's the kind of guy that, like, the Japanese fans really like, because they like the big hossy Americans that toss people around. And that's evident whenever you watch a Cobb match over there and he starts talking people around and the crowd's just like, whoa. I mean, they start getting into it big time, because when you're hurling another human around, I mean, that's exciting shit. So, I mean, yeah, love Jeff Cobb. Hopefully, again, he retains. Things go well. But I think it's fair to say that a lot of people probably have low expectations, and unfortunately, that's what you get with the overdone cliche heel act when you have a guy like Tai Chi like that doesn't deliver very often. And again, I'm citing like 3 matches in 2 years where I thought it was great, and that's, he works a lot of matches. So, I mean, he's tolerable in tags most of the time, but the single stuff I pretty much have no time for. So the main event of night 1 is IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion Dragon Lee defending against former champion Taiji Ishimori. Jeremy, your thoughts?
Hiromu Takahashi will finally return. I don't know if that's true. I feel like this rumor has been out there for decades now. I look forward to this match. Dragon Lee's awesome. Taiji Ishimori is awesome. I hope they get more than 12 minutes or 8 minutes, whatever the fucking time they got at G1 Supercard. I would imagine they get plenty of time to work their style, work a nice fast pace, not even a sprint, because if it's 15, 17, 18 minutes, like that's not totally a sprint, but these guys just, they're not going to slow down. So it's still, it's an elongated sprint. It's a quick mile, I guess. This match should be great. I figured Dragon Lee retains. It's just, it seems a little too early to take the belt off of him. I know New Japan does have a habit of hot potatoing certain titles. I don't feel like they should do that here. Like, let the guy have one defense, let him have it through best of Super Juniors, and kind of go from there. But I wouldn't complain about Ishimori getting the belt back, because I thought his run was good, and the Bullet Club stuff with him being the Bone Soldier was really strong stuff. So I look forward to this match. I can't imagine it being, anything less than awesome.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. Should be the best match on the show. I also have Lee retaining. I do think it's too soon to take the title off of him. Plus, I think that, with him winning, even if you don't do anything with a Hiromu appearance or anything, in the back of everybody's mind, with Lee still as champion right now, in the back of everybody's mind, they're still thinking about Hiromu coming back and the possible rematch. So I think it would be good to keep it on him through Best of Super Juniors. And so that is night one. Moving on to night two of Dontaku. Again, we got a little variations on the theme gimmick going on here. Shota Umino and Ren Narita versus Tsuji and Uemura. Umino and Narita should win as usual.
Yep.
Moving on, multi-man tag, Jeff Cobb, Yoshihashi, Toa Hanare, Tiger Mask, and Taguchi versus Taichi, Suzuki, Kinemaru, Desperado, and Taka. So the bummer here is no Liger and Suzuki interaction, but there will be follow-up to Cobb and Taichi in the match. For whatever that's
Hooray. I figure Hanare takes the pin, and I look forward to the Suzuki and Jeff Cobb interactions, actually. I hope that they get a nice little segment where they can kind of beat on each other a little bit, because that would be a very awesome 1-1 match.
Yeah, that would be. I would like, actually, if they started a setup to that here, if he's still champion. That would make a lot of sense. Give Suzuki something else to work towards, and I think that would be fun. Makabe, Yano, and Liger versus Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, and Jado. Let me say that booking matches, thankfully they put Liger in this one, because Jado is just old and broken down and injured, and he's really shitty in the ring anymore. But the only thing worse than having him in tag matches is when he's working tag matches with Hanma, and time almost stands still when those two are in the ring. It's just really bad.
I figured Jado will eat the pinfall here, and Liger probably gets the victory.
Yeah, and again, we're kind of continuing Makabe and Yano versus the Gorillas here as well. Interaction. So moving on, Hiroki Goto, Juice Robinson, Mikey Nichols, and Hanma versus Jay White, Bad Luck Fale, Chase Owens, and Hikuleo.
I think I had Bullet Club winning the first night, so Chaos will win this night.
Yeah, I think the faces might take this one, because you got Hikuleo in there, and that's his job right now, to take losses. But again, variations on the theme, a lot of the same guys. Rematch from night one up next: Kota Ibushi, Sho and Yo versus Naito, Ibushi, and Shingo. Again, this will be highlighted by Shingo and Sho. Just because they have been so very awesome throughout the whole tour. And again, Ibushi and Naito, the stuff has been really good with them. I had LIJ winning on night one, so I think Kota and Republic 3K win here on night 2.
Yeah, I would imagine whoever wins on night 1 loses on night 2. 50-50 booking in New Japan.
Yeah. But I think that's okay for an undercard tag right now because,
no, it is. It's definitely nothing like what WWE likes to do, considering all of these guys have been built up better than pretty much anybody in WWE in years now. So Roman Reigns excluded. So it's fine.
Yeah. But again, it should be a really good match, and we still don't have a date for Naito and Ibushi, but I would assume either on the Best of Super Juniors final event or Dominion. Probably Dominion since they try to load that up a bit, but we will see when we get that. Moving on, we got basically a Best of Super Juniors preview match. Dragon Lee and Will Ospreay versus Taiji Ishimori and X. I think everybody expects X to be... No, I mean, that would be awesome if he came back. But again, I think everybody thinks the Mysterious X will be El Phantasmo, who's working Best of Super Juniors and will be part of Bullet Club, tagging with his Bullet Club brother here. So what do you think?
It would be very surprising if X wasn't El Phantasmo based on the video packages that ran through the New Japan Cup tour. And yeah, he was part of Bullet Club, Ishimori's Bullet Club. So all signs point to X being El Phantasmo and then him joining as the final participant in Best of Super Juniors. And this match will probably be it'll probably be another great match. Anybody who's listened to me on this podcast over the last month or so knows that I'm super high on Will Ospreay right now. I think he's top 3 in the world right now. Ospreay, this is going to be just a great showcase for him. Great showcase for the Best of Super Juniors tournament that's coming up with pretty much the 4. Maybe El Phantasmo isn't at that level, but they seem to have high hopes for him with all these video packages and putting him in Bullet Club and everything. So maybe the 4 guys were kind of at the top of the standings by the end of Best of Super Juniors. So I'd imagine these guys are going to go out there and give everybody a really nice preview of the upcoming tournament.
Yeah, looking forward to this. And I mean, and I'm not trying to be like disrespectful to people's personal opinions, but I personally don't get people that don't think Will Ospreay is a very good professional wrestler.
Those people are wrong.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that obviously haven't watched him a lot recently because all I hear is, oh, he does his flippy stuff and his little superhero pose and blah, 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 blah. And yeah, there is a lot of that, but he's also drastically changed his style. And his selling's really good. His strikes are much better. And yeah, I personally don't get it. I think you're either watching with your eyes closed or you're just not watching when you say stuff like that. But yeah, anybody who doesn't
think Will Ospreay is good probably is still watching GIFs from 4 years ago. And so that's what they're basing their opinion on. Like, sit down and watch literally any Will Ospreay match from WrestleMania weekend, and every single one of them is great. Like, go watch the Bandito match and tell me this match isn't like a nearly perfect wrestling match.
So good. But yeah, I mean, yeah, this one has a ton of potential to be really good. Dragon Lee, really good pro wrestler. Will Ospreay, really good pro wrestler. Taiji Ishimori, really good pro wrestler. And El Phantasmo, I don't think is bad. I don't think he's great like them, but he is going to be put in a position to succeed because he gets to work against Lee and Ospreay, and he's being positioned with Ishimori. So, I mean, I think the match is all about like introducing him and getting him over and trying to let him impress. So Ishimori and he should win the match. But yeah, a lot of potential on there. And speaking of potential for just an ass-kicking awesome match, Jeremy, which is not going to be a professional grappling contest. And I almost hate to use the word, but this will be a war of human versus human. Big Tom Ishii versus Evil.
These guys are gonna just beat the shit out of each other, and it'll be great. Like you said, previewing the last card, these guys, their interactions throughout the tour have been really good, and now they finally get to go one-on-one. And like Ishii is probably one of just the most underrated wrestlers right now. I'm not saying people don't praise him, because anyone who's watched New Japan long enough know how good this guy is. But you don't hear New Japan is so stacked with just so many good wrestlers between Okada, Tanahashi, Naito, Ibushi, Osprey. Like that's five right there. And yeah, all of them are probably better than Ishii, but like he's right there kind of in that class. And they seem to, at least based on their whole New Japan Cup, let me point to myself nonsense that they did. Like Goto was in that mix, and like Ishii is just so good and just doesn't get the praise that he should, because I mean New Japan, when it comes to talent right now, is at a very high point in their history. So Ishii just gets overlooked a lot, but he's great. And Evil can go. I'm not like the biggest Evil fan in the world, but he's shown he can step up in certain matches, and this will certainly be a match where he can showcase himself better. And it's a good styles mix between these two.
Yeah, they have been great all tour long. For my money, I think Ishii, probably for the past 4.5 years, has been one of, if not the top two best big match performers. I mean, when this dude gets a major singles match, just fucking banger after banger. Match of the year stuff with Omega and Okada and various guys, and it's just, he's so good. And I just I think this is almost a title eliminator. I think whoever wins is maybe not next up, but really close to a title shot. And I kind of think that means they're going to go with Evil, because unfortunately Big Tom always gets overlooked. I'm still pissed that he never got his title shot after beating Okada in the G1 like 2 years ago. Fucking bullshit. But Big Thomas Ishii is a gentle soul, and he won't hold it against him. I wish he would win here and get a title shot. I think it'd be awesome. But it's probably going to be Evil, because they have a lot invested into he and Sonata. This definitely has a chance to be the best thing on the show.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to quite beat Okada and Sonata, because their matches are always really, really strong, but it'll certainly challenge them. And even the Best of Super Juniors tag team match, like that's going to be really strong as well. So you're looking at 3 matches that all have sort of match of the night contender there, where they should be. And I'm not a star ratings guy, but they should all be over 4 stars and probably creeping into 4.5, 5-star range. So I mean, that if you're getting 3 matches over 4 stars, like that's already a really strong card. And yeah, Ishii, he's good. Like you said, big match, singles matches. Those Omega last year were outstanding, and I don't think this guy just gets the credit that he should, because he's in an era where there are just so many good wrestlers in this company.
Yeah, he's fucking great. So the main event for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, champion Kazuchika Okada defending against Sonata. Again, they've had all tour to interact. They've done a lot of good things. The thing is here is, the way I'm looking at this is, there was really no call for another Sonata-Okada match. Okada beat him in the New Japan Cup, and then the gimmick is that he said if he won the title at Madison Square Garden, he'd give him a match. And that's like a lovely gesture and everything, but when you look at it, Sonata's 0-5 against Okada. And if he loses here and goes 0-6, Sonata may be a good brother with awesome hair, but he's going to feel Lex Luger to a point. And I think that would be really, really bad. And then you take into consideration that we just came off of Tanahashi and White winning the title and then failing to successfully defend it even once, which is a rare occurrence. in New Japan. It's only happened like 2, maybe 3 other times in the title's history. And only one time has it happened 3 times. So I can't see Okada losing here because they just told the story about him finally overcoming Jay White. So I get the feeling, and pay attention to this show, that if the undercard matches largely are really, really short, I think there's a chance that they're working a draw here. Simply for the fact that you don't want to shoehorn Sonata as Okada's bitch. And I wouldn't put that out of the question. I think it's the best bet for Sonata if he's not winning. And again, I don't feel that's happening. It would be a pleasant surprise, I guess, because I don't think anybody sees it happening. But I think Okada will retain via 60-minute time limit draw. That is my bold prediction. Jeremy Lambert, your thoughts?
The draw is a good call. It didn't really come into my head until you just mentioned it, because I'm with you. This match feels, I don't want to say pointless, but it feels unnecessary because Okada did beat him, and Okada has always beaten him, and it's like, what has Sonata done to earn this shot outside of Okada just being a nice guy, I guess? And yeah, it's tough to see Okada losing after just winning at Madison Square Garden. They've going back to hot potatoing the title around, like they rarely hot potato the IWGP heavyweight title around, and like that's what this would be if Sonata won. Like you'd have 4 champions in 5 months, and that's typically not how the belt is booked. But then, okay, so Okada wins, but then Sonata loses to Okada again, and it's like you can't run this match too many more times. Like you can if Sonata beats him in the G1, then I guess he has a claim there, and at least then Sonata would have a victory, and maybe you can say like, oh, he's over. Like he no longer sees Okada as this, mythical figure that he just can't get over. Like he beat him. So can he do it with a belt on the line? I don't know. There's different ways you can play that out. I really like Sonata. I think like he could be the top guy in this company. It doesn't seem like they're ever going to pull the trigger on him, at least not in the near future, because they have Okada, they have Naito, they have Ibushi. You can always go back to Tanahashi. So like that's sort of your top 4 right there. And so Sonata doesn't quite fit into that, at least seemingly long term. Yeah, a draw would seem to make sense now, because then you're protecting both guys, and then you can go to the G1 and Sonata maybe beats Okada, and then if you do the rematch, and there's more story there than there is going into this match. If you do a rematch down the line in November or whenever, then you can say, well, Sonata beat him in the G1, so Sonata took him to a draw earlier this year. Maybe he's finally figured it all out. Whereas this match, it's just Okada's beating the shit out of this guy every single time. Why is Sonata in this position?
Yeah, and like I said, I think from a booking perspective, they have to tread very lightly here because, like everybody likes to make fun of Goto because he's like 0-8 in IWGP title shots. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. And you don't want like Sonata getting that like same hook on him when you still got time to do big things with him. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I mean, I don't really expect a draw. I kind of expect them to work a 35-minute match again and probably be great again. Okada wins, but I'm throwing it out there that if the draw happens, I call it. And but I will. Let me say this: if for some reason Sonata wins, I will give the preemptive shout out to the guys of Voices Wrestling, Lanza and Craig, who had long said that 2019 could be Sonata's year, and they said that like 2 years ago. So if he wins the title, those dudes will be taking a victory lap.
Again, I wish they would pull the trigger on Sonata. I think it would be something different. It would certainly be shocking because no one expects Sonata to lose this match or Okada to lose this match. So it would create a nice little buzz. It would be something different. I don't know how long Sonata's holding the belt for. It probably feels like, all right, he wins it, and then he fails to have one title defense as well. But we'll see. I'm not opposed to Sonata winning the title here. I know it seems like a weird thing to do because it's Okada and like he's the king of these long title reigns and multiple defenses, but pull the trigger, you coward, Gato. Put belts on Sonata.
There you go. Yeah, it would definitely be a surprise. It'd be an interesting move, and I'm not exactly opposed to it or anything. I don't feel it happening, but if it does, I think that's even better. Because I'm not going to sit there and go, no, I have a feeling Sonata's picking up the title, because I don't. But again, I mean, that's kind of the glory of wrestling sometimes when you can be really surprised by something like that. And if it happens, though, it'll be interesting to see how they go forward with it. But yeah, that is night 2. I think Okada retains, but I think there's a good chance of the draw. And like I said, I think we'll know early on if we start noticing, instead of the normal 10-minute match, if we start getting some 6s and 7s and some lower numbered match times, I think the draw is in play. So that's
very possible. I will certainly keep an eye out on that now that you have brought it up. Or they could just run normal matches and then the show, they still do a draw and the show ends up being like 4.5, 5 hours long.
Well, no, I don't want that. I had enough of my long shows WrestleMania weekend. I'm good.
New Japan got a top WrestleMania on how long this show can do. This is their 2-night WrestleMania right here.
Yeah, no. All right, well, that'll wrap us up for today. Jeremy, thank you. Remember, guys, you can listen to the 411 on Wrestling podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, and, of course, the 411 Mania site. Please leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Share us around on social media. Thank you for listening, and have a good week.